All right. Hey, it's Kevin.
What's up, everyone? We got off to a good start. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
So, I don't even know where to begin.
Well, I got some notes. So if you struggle for topics, you can phone a friend.
Okay, cool. Is this years of research?
This was, I think, an hour of thinking. So not quite on the level of some others, but I'll take it.
Okay, cool. And they're still saying I'm a little bit loud, so I'm lowering my mic a little bit. Okay, I lowered it to negative 16.5 decibels, so hopefully that's a little bit better.
Well, you sound fine to me, but I don't know.
Okay, no need to yell. Now I'm too low. Jeez, everyone's like, okay. Okay, I just need to not yell. Alright, we're gonna be at negative. Okay, I'm at negative 9.4. Hopefully that's good. Okay, so it's always funny because your sound is like and video is like the bane of every remote meeting at work.
I guess, well, I didn't mean to do it to you more. Happy holidays, Tafo.
Okay, anyway, so what have you been up to? It's the holiday. I don't know what you celebrate, so I'm just going to say happy holidays.
I celebrate Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. And if that's not what you celebrate, then translate it into what you do. It's Merry Christmas chat. Love you guys. Yeah, I mean, the holiday was pretty chill. Just spent time with family like I do, and got some presents and everything, and it was nice. And you know, I'm back on the grind now, trying to close this last, hopefully, well, what it feels like the last leg of this journey out. So that's, you know, I'll save all of that for the end. But so if you're looking to have this conversation be about health and what have I been doing and all, you know, the whole story. I mean, if I told half you people, I don't think you'd believe me, so I'm not even going to bother with that. But what I've been doing, well, again, I'll talk about that at the end. So it's just a few things. But if you want to stay through that, we're going to talk about Melee and maybe a bit of what how the new game's affecting things, and we'll do that. And, you know, kind of just to rattle off some topics and maybe get a perspective people aren't usually seeing on Twitter or in other streams. And I hope it's still interesting for you guys. I hope it's fun. If not, then I guess come back in, I don't know, 40, 50 minutes or something for the health thing. But there's things to say, and I'll be talking about more coming. So, you know, we'll all be all right.
Yeah. So, did you get anything cool for Christmas?
I got some socks. They were so comfy, dude. I'm freaking 28 now, so you gotta start loving the socks, and you gotta start the things that I didn't realize were so important when I was younger. Now, you know, I'm like, oh man, this, you know, it's comfy, and it's like, or maybe it's cool, or it's like it's solving some problem. And it's like, normally I would just, for Christmas, I want the one thing. I know what the one thing I want is, and I get it, and then I don't care about anything else. And now I'm like, all right, you want to give me socks? Cool, they're comfy, they'll keep me warm. I'm about it. You know, that goes towards something else longer term, and someone was thinking about me, and I've got all this stuff in here. So, you know, anything, you know, is nice, and I really try to think about that more, you know, especially in the position I've been in where it's been harder for me to give, but easier to, or a little, I try to close myself off from getting, but there's still some things I do get, and I try to remind myself to be very grateful for them.
So, I mean, I love the feeling of new socks. I think like that's like one of the most like awesome feelings. Just putting on a brand new sock that you just got.
Dude, heck yeah.
Cotton, the material. Also, new boxers is up there for me now.
I got those too. I was feeling it.
Well, I think everyone knows that you're a pretty grateful guy. I remember when you lost your wallet at Northwest Manifest. Like, it took me forever to convince you to take $50 from me.
Yeah, have you told that story before?
I don't think so. Not like super publicly.
Yes. So that was, oh man, and it wasn't, and I'm gonna be honest, this wasn't the first time I've lost my wallet at a Smash thing or whatever, but you know, I was pretty good. I was more careful about it when I went out of state, and I checked and it was gone, and I was like, I was still kind of just focusing on melee, kind of just tuning everything else out, and there's something to be said for that, sure, but it led to things like wallets disappearing occasionally, and that was not so good when I needed to fly back across the continent. So I was just worried, and in the meantime, you wanted to help me out, and I was just like, oh man, I messed up, and now someone's going to help me out, and it was very generous. I mean, I think it was more than you needed to give me, really, but you wanted to make sure I was okay, and oh man. So I still think about that sometimes too, where I'm, at Silent Wolf's place, and you're there, and you're trying to convince me, young Tafo, and he was out here even then. So everyone needs to really appreciate Tafo for what he's done, not just for me, of course, but for the community as a whole.
Well, I mean, you're paying it forward by doing this video interview. Not that I knew that this was going to happen like 5-6 years ago.
I guess not.
So have you been watching any Ultimate streams lately, or like how closely have you been following the game, if at all?
I haven't really been watching it. I will look at a clip on Twitter here or there to see what the general opinion, the general discussion, some general advancements look like, if I think I really need to, but for the most part, I'm going to be honest, it hasn't super interested me, so I haven't super paid a lot of attention to it. Been watching Melee, been watching speedruns, or whoever else I want to watch, and that's been doing me fine. And, to the people, before everyone goes like, oh, shots or whatever, because I'm sure it might be what people are doing, it's not, people, it's best game that's come out in a while for Smash, and I hope people really enjoy it. And I like that Leffen, for example, is pushing it and everything. And I don't mean pushing it with his Twitter fights. I mean pushing the meta with what he's doing and sponsoring tournaments and everything. I think that's really cool. So I'm not telling everyone what to do. I'm just saying that's what I do.
Do you have a Switch?
I think one's potentially on the way, but it wasn't something I ordered. I'll put it like that.
Oh, somebody got it for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Phew. Because I was thinking about getting you one, but now I just have to get you something else.
Yeah, no, please. Everyone, the whole chat needs to tell Tafo not to do anything else for me for the rest of this, because you're getting tempted already. We're not even 10 minutes in.
Hey, shilling, strangely enough, is the new meta.
Shilling is the meta?
Yeah.
Dude, I was watching, I was covertly watching Ludwig's stream the other day, where he was talking about how to stream and everything, and I was like, picked up a little bit there, and I was like, this guy knows some stuff. So if Ludwig says you got a shill gang, then you got a shill gang. I'm about it.
Dude, Ludwig beat me in bracket when I was commentating.
While you were commentating?
While I was commentating, I somehow lost to Ludwig 0-2 at the Mango Homecoming.
Oh, okay, there was a lot going on there.
Yeah. So you covertly watched Ludwig's stream. Good taste.
Okay, well, I didn't mean to. Oh, I see. Now I'm not going to get the Switch because I did Tafo like that. All right, I take it all back. No more Ludwig streams for me. I'll try to redeem myself.
Okay, so Ultimate, it seems like other than years of research and Mango is super dangerous, you haven't really been following too much.
Not a whole lot. Like, I see some stuff about the various input lags, and I see YouTube, like, as I follow Zero, I'll see like the YouTube videos, the way he's putting stuff out, and I'll see general opinions from like Mango or Zero or Leffen or whatever, just see what they're thinking about it, and that's somewhere. And then other people will watch streams, and I don't even ask for it, but they tell me, they're like, this is what Armada was saying when he was playing someone, and this is what. So I find out things anyway. It's not, I don't even have to go look for it anymore. It's just, it comes to me, which is easier. So I still find out some stuff, but yeah, largely I wouldn't say I am an authority. That's for sure.
If you were to pick a main, like, who would it be?
Oh boy, I don't know. I think from what I know about the game, I think I'd at least look at Pichu. I think that's one character I'd look at based on what I have heard and the bit I've seen. I think Pichu's one I'd look at.
Well, let's say if there's 5 characters you want to try out, there's like over 70 characters, so it's really hard to choose one.
I mean, I can name 5, but I don't know if like how many that have been hype or whatever. But, and I know I want to look at Pichu. I know that, oh yeah, I remember getting told Crom was good, so I always look at him because I played Marth in Brawl and I played Marth in Melee, so pick the best sword swinger in Ultimate.
Yeah,
so
they
probably look at that.
They feel really good. The sword swingers actually, like, you played a little bit of Smash 4. I remember you were at that one invitational, but
yeah, I was at the invitational.
Yeah, I'll tell you that the sword guys feel way better than they did in Smash 4.
Thank goodness. So yeah, I might look at maybe all of them. I don't know. 2 of the best ones. I don't know. I'd probably look at Pokemon Trainer just because Leffen likes him so much, and I have a great deal of respect for Leffen's opinions about things. That don't the snake thing. Please don't talk about the snake thing. I don't know. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the Pokemon Trainer thing. I could feel the clips, and I could feel the hate, and I could feel our Smash Bros coming for me.
No, they're not gonna. They're not gonna come for you. It's funny because I feel like everyone universally rallied around Leffen in this situation.
Yeah, which is, I think if you went 5-6 years ago and you told someone that would happen, I think they'd be pretty confused.
Well, anything 5 to 6, is like confusing. Well, I mean, I think we're teasing the viewers here because I think they mostly came. They might have been interested in your ultimate opinions. Who knows? I think people at the end of the day are interested in what you think about Melee. Interesting year. SSBM rank is going to happen soon, so pretty much the year's under wraps. I'm sure you've been watching a lot, and I feel like a lot of people are very interested in what you think of. We'll start with like the top 6 or 7 players. Like, what do you think about them right now?
Yeah, so this is part of my notes here, so that's a good question. I think, and I kind of want to tackle this from like an HBox specific angle, not because I have anything against him, but I feel like the conversation centralizes around HBox so much in the general discussion. Not always, but people are like, oh, well, I don't like it when HBox wins. I don't like it when he plays and, whatever. So I feel like the conversation always ties to, and he's done pretty well this year. So he's been in finals a lot, if not won or whatever. So, I think it's kind of fair for the discussion to center on him, but there's so much there. And so I want to center it around him. And I want to say that a lot of people would say that HBox's main thing is he has to just fight different styles of Fox. And I think this year, really, that started to not be as much of the case. I think Wizzy's gotten better at the matchup, and Wizzy was already good at it last year, but I think over the course this year, and not consistently, but Wizzy's gotten better at it. And I think that has pushed HBox. But you're like, okay, well, that's just one other matchup. And so I think Zane has put a ton of work into the Marth Puck matchup, especially I think like the latter half of the year or something. I don't really remember when he really started putting work in it from what it looked like, but I think that's what he's spent a lot of this year really working on, and I think it's starting to pay off. And if Zane and Wizzy could each beat HBox like a quarter of the time, like that just drastically will start changing brackets, because he has to start preparing differently and he has to start warming up with different people if he's going to do that, or he has to start he can't just look at Fox. Basically, he has more people to study, more different ways to play and everything. And there's maybe a chance that Swedish starts to push him more, because Swedish is, he's I guess wobbled around a little bit, but his overall level looks fairly good this year. So maybe Swedish could do it too. And the point being that and people are going to be like, okay, well, it's mostly Foxes and it's Foxes more of the time. And it's like, yeah, that's true. But I want to say that this year looks like that narrative is changing, not that it has changed. I think Mango playing Fox against HBox gives him another type of style to deal with. And while Mango hasn't figured out exactly what he wants to do in that matchup, I think that Mango figuring it out is going to end up making HBox struggle more. Because it's just another way to play, I believe that it's more dangerous to HBox than Mango's Falco. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he figures that out. But I will say something that does help HBox's narrative is Armada's partial or full or whatever retirement, whatever he did, and that affects the Peach meta greatly, of course. And his Fox was also someone that was really, really pushing HBox. So HBox getting to let off the gas there and look at all the other matchups like I was talking about on the other Foxes and everything. Could it even out? Sure, maybe, but I think that's kind of a we'll need to wait and see type of thing.
You said so. We talked about character diversity, and HBox has played a lot of different characters played against a lot of different characters. But despite the character diversity, you're still saying Mango's Fox is more dangerous than Mango's Falco. So why do you believe so?
I was talking about versus HBox. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, you're saying that Mango's Fox is more dangerous versus HBox as opposed to his Falco, even though the Falco is more of a unique character.
Yeah, I think a big part of that is just because the matchup is just. I mean, I think it's way better. Maybe whatever that means, right? But I think it's better, and I think that being able to tack on damage for free and more safely with lasers as opposed to trying to control Puff, who's in the nebulous kind of space all the time with Falco's lasers that are slower and everything. I think it's just a better matchup for Fox, and I know that there are people that disagree with that, and that's fine. But it's not just that. I think that being able to outright kill more often, with jab up smash, up throw up air, and all that stuff. Again, HBox can get out of this stuff more, and he knows ways to circumvent it, and he's practiced that more. But still, the fact remains that if he's putting all that time into avoiding something that could open him up to something else, it's a long discussion that would get into a lot of specifics to go through it. And but the way I see it is longer term, playing a faster character that can mitigate Puff's movement in the air advantage by just being so much faster on the ground and transferring that to the air, whether you dash jump or you jump in place and you rise and fall so quickly. I think that just makes it harder for Puff to control you generally. And sometimes, even mid or farther range, you could have a better chance of recovering. Up close range, it's a bit more variable because Falco has a faster and better side B and at that range, and he has to double jump down air. So it depends more there, but I think that, again, long term, if Mango can solve certain problems that he's facing, like getting used to the matchup again and finding positions where HBox is getting him, I think that every time he gets a read on HBox, as opposed to just like back airing him off the stage at 120 on Dreamland as Falco, he can start getting those like moonwalk up airs or whatever he does as Fox and get the kill at that percent or earlier is kind of what I'm thinking about here. You can get the same read but get more returns for it. And it could be true that HBox could do the same thing to him, but I think like he can hit both spaces pretty hard, so I think that ends up being much more in Fox's favor.
So you're just saying the path to success for the Fox is a lot more clear, pretty much.
Yeah, and I feel like Mango's strategy can work better because it's very clearly like, and that's a good point, but I think like Mango is really good at switching up when he's lasering and attacking. So he's lasering, and then he sees that you're confirming he's lasering, and they want to come in, and then he could back up a little bit and do more if they like think he's going to approach, or he could just go in, and he's already got the, he already knows the approach game so well. To have someone like try to come in and give him a position that might be better for his approach game is going to be a lot better with Fox, because again, the laser's less laggy. You're more likely to hit it or at least provoke them to come in than Falco's laser. And I mean, the pun, I guess like the only maybe kind of difference is like maybe Mango won't hit as many combos with Fox as he will with Falco, but again, I think longer term, especially on those grindy Dreamland matches, that the reads Mango get will just pay off so much more as Fox.
I've always suggested that he should just play Puff on Dreamland because he loses fatigue, or he gets fatigued. Yeah. And just throw away.
I mean, I love Mango's Puff, but he's very stubbornly not playing it much because, I mean, there are reasons for that, and I understand, and I can guess or kind of see what those are to an extent, and so I get it. But I think like switching between characters is already something he's complained about before between Fox and Falco. So I think adding more characters, while it could be problematic for the opponent, it could also work against him too, and that's something that maybe he could mitigate if he wanted to put more time into Puff. I'm not sure if he does, and I think his Fox can get the job done if he can find those ways to cut through HBox's kind of killing time BS that I'm sure is the way Mango thinks of it.
So stepping down the Falcos, like West and Mango have been established, but we have other Falcos like Ginger, Squid, the people who are kind of in that 30 to 80 range. You know, they're studying the game more from a fundamental standpoint. They look at matchups. You know, they're looking at not necessarily just like reading opponents, but also like figuring out like what works just from a character versus character level. Why do you think they're not getting to like the top 20 or the top 10? Like, what's preventing them? What's keeping them in the 30s and the 40s?
Well, my funny answer is when I was watching Bird Call, the last one, I think it was with KJH, I think Ginger started reading a formula that was about, I don't know, well, I don't even remember what it was, but it was like, he read a math formula that was for like some weird collision thing that ended up not being a thing. And then then they went and studied up throw, and they found out that the electricity affected, or should have affected, stun based on that formula, the damage formula or the stun formula. But then the laser was so weak it didn't matter or whatever. And they had this like long discussion about. And so the cool thing, so the funny thing about that is that it ended up not mattering, and it was like a lot of time in a silly thing. But the cool thing about it was that they're really going deep into the game. They're really looking at everything that they possibly can and pulling from it. They're going to have a lot in terms of raw knowledge, raw data that they can pull from. And they're also maybe going to have certain sequences of actions or certain weird, minute ways to win situations that, you know, people like Wes or Mango haven't thought of, or myself, obviously. And you know, I know it sounds like I'm like kind of criticizing them more, but and this isn't really consistent, but what it seems like when they're playing better, they are, you know, aggregating more of that positional knowledge, positional awareness, that stuff that's, you know, really going to take them long term. And they're getting better at combining the nitty gritty details with overarching, what I believe to be overarching fundamentals. And I think that is starting to come together, although not consistently. I think for Ginger, it looks like it's been more consistent lately, but I still kind of want to wait and see if that's the case.
Do you believe for Falco that Falcos are getting less rewarded for their reads and fundamentals, just in the sense of SDI? So to give you an example, I think Sheik Falco is incredibly hard matchup for Falco because Falco gets so little now, whereas Sheik can get so much off of so little.
That is the question, and that's a question that I'm not going to feel fully confident answering, because there's a lot of SDI stuff I need to look at, and also I need to like kind of play the top Sheiks and see what their reaction to hits are like, because it's one thing for me to test and say, okay, well, if they always SDI here, then they get out. But if it's like, oh, well, if I do this type of play and maybe I give up a smaller advantage for this and I hit them, they're very not likely to SDI, I think. But there could be Sheiks that are doing things like, if they're unsure of something, then they just start mashing, and I'd need to like find a way to beat that or something. So it's like, there are things that I kind of know. But anyway, with that preamble out of the way, I think that the thing about Falco, and I'm not going to talk about Falco, I'm not going to be necessarily including Falco Puff and Falco Peach in this for the moment, but the cool thing about Falco in most of his matchups that are hard and affected by this is you can launch people still. As long as you can hit the shine and you can launch people, I think that getting them up there and working your back air is going to work a lot of the time. Now, there's a bit of a caveat to that too, but this is not really supposed to be the caveat show. Yeah. So, but it's largely true, and I really like it. And it was something that I was working on a lot, because it's kind of like they can't really challenge the bear angle like this from their positions a lot of the time in the air. And that's still going to be good. So I can launch them, and I don't have to hit them, but I can still keep them up. And as long as I can keep them up, they can start burning jumps. I can start back airing them off stage, or I can start doing mix-ups at that point. I think there's a way to still play the game that's not just like regular combos. And that's not to say that like SDI isn't going to affect anything. It's going to greatly affect things. It's going to influence like how many more reads you go for and that type of thing. And I think like really landing the first shine, if you're trying to do it out of down air, could get harder for sure. but I don't think it necessarily kills him. And I think what ends up happening a lot of time, from what I noticed, because people don't necessarily always SDI up, they SDI out. So the cool thing about that is, if you're SDIing out, you're getting closer to an edge guard situation, and so it becomes a game that's much more about edge guarding. And I think that there's room to explore there as well. And I think that that's something that I really want to be focusing on, and I think Falco should be focusing on. And I think that, and again, there's things they have to work out, because on Dreamland you can fly farther across the stage and still be on stage. Whatever, again, caveat, but that's the general idea.
Got it. Do you also think? Oh, my notifications are super loud. I apologize. I mean, and then there's the flip side. So Falco's punishes are less guaranteed, but when I watch like Leffen combo Falco, I see Zane combo Falco, I see Puff combo Falco. It seems like the room for error is a lot less forgiving. Would you agree?
Kind of. I think Falcos are not doing the slide off stuff super well yet, and like all that other, and like double teching and all that stuff yet. Like, obviously I'm not saying they don't know, but it's like in the stress of tournament, or like you don't know this particular setup you're getting hit with, you might not fully know, or it might not be practiced, you might just be aware of it. And again, it's not like none of them are doing it and none of them are aware. I'm not trying to suggest, this is not a throw shade on Falco thing, or Falco players.
I mean, you're talking strictly gameplay right now, so I don't think it's throw shade.
Yeah, but I just kind of I'm very cautious about talks like this, because it's like, oh, well, you're not playing and you're going to tell everyone how to play. It's like not what I'm trying to do. And so I think, so that's like part of it. And I think so the cool thing about like kind of what the Fox players are largely doing is I feel like they've developed their anti-punish stuff so much, because there's so many and they're working together on all this stuff and they're making it practical at the same time. And I feel like Falcos are lagging more behind on that. And so this is an area where I think like the Gingers and the Squids are going to have already, or, you know, are going to fully find out that stuff, and they're going to find out how to hold a direction while they shield, even if they're unsure of what's going to happen, so that they can probably still get a slide off if they do get up thrown or whatever. So like, I don't know if that stuff exists just yet, but I think it's going to, and I think that's a big part of it. Now, that being said, that it is certainly the case that when I started playing the game, Falco was, you know, considered off stage, he was dead. And then, you know, over the course of time, by the time when I became a top player, it was less true. Recoveries has gotten better, more thanks to Mango than me. But the recoveries have gotten better, and you know, it wasn't seen as so bad. And now I think it's not how it was when I started, but we are seeing more ways to kill Falco, you know, at the edge at low percent, or just get him into his up B, which is basically dead. And you know, like various Fox double shine setups, or, you know, other optimizations or other things like that. So I'm not going to say that's all good, because it's definitely not, but I want to say that there is some room for improvement there too.
Got it. One sec. I should have done this a while ago, and it's starting to annoy me. I had headphones on, but I'll be right back.
All right. I'm going to see what chat's doing.
Sorry. The theme song to Ultimate gets annoying after a while.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah. Anyway, so enough about Falco.
Look at these guys are going ham.
Where are they?
I was like, you got up and I didn't know what you were gonna do. So love you guys. I'll come back in a minute. I just want to stay focused on what Tafo's saying. Thank you guys for the love. I didn't know how long you were gonna get up, so I said I'll talk to chat, and they went in.
Marth. You know, we got Mewtwo King, Zane, PPU, Moon, Rishi, La Luna, and Rishi, just to name a few. Do you like what you're seeing from the Marths?
Undoubtedly, Marth is going to become a more common, more powerful character. I mean, that's what I was thinking, you know, around the time when I had to stop playing, but, you know, it's borne itself out. Not in ways I fully expected, but it's borne itself out. I think Zane is, you know, he's. I really think that I think he has real potential to kind of crack into that farthest echelon that seems to be out of reach for most people. I really do think he has a real shot at doing that. In part because of Marth, but in part because he's clearly a hardworking guy and he's a smart guy, and I think he can figure it out. I'm also looking at Rishi, who beat M2K earlier, and he always has a close set with Zane, and generally his matchup spread is getting better, and he's looking fairly good. Those are the two I'm kind of looking at. Pew Pew he's had a bit of a rebound as well this year. I'm not sure what that will end up looking like, but that's a good thing as well. And regardless of my take on every individual Marth, the trend I see is that at some point a Marth player is improving, is pushing their limits, pushing the understanding of the character. I mean, there are a couple Marths that I work with on my Smashboards thread that I think have some potential and have had some wins, and I'm happy just to kind of sneak in my own little meta pushing stuff when I want to.
Are you still posting there?
Oh yeah, every day.
Ooh, we should plug that.
What?
I don't think these 2,600 users know about this. Some of them do.
Well, it's obviously the best kept secret that isn't a secret. But yeah, I go on Smashboards pretty much every day. I've tried to do it no matter how I feel, because I want to just like give something to the community, and I want to. And there are people that are really trying to learn on there, and I think people are like, oh, Smashboards is bad, Discord's the best, and I think that Discord is good at things Smashboards isn't good at, for sure. But I think Smashboards also has advantages, like being able to archive things better, and I believe you feel more free to write out your thoughts there, your full thoughts, and have everyone kind of take their time replying to it, as opposed to just saying Ligma or whatever you do in Discord chats.
So we talked a lot about like kind of adding options and positional advantages in Falco, some defensive options. Where do you think the new frontier of where Marths can get the next low-hanging fruit is?
Now, do you mean current Marth players, or do you mean like the total kind of unknown stuff, or what do you mean?
We'll say like Zane, Rishi, Pew Pew, Luna, because they actually share a Discord together, or they have some sort of group chat, and so the four of them, they're talking, they're discussing matchups, and they're feeding off of each other. So what's the next frontier for them?
I mean, one of the biggest things confronting Marth as a character is fully solving the Puff matchup. Just like, that's kind of a throwaway answer. Well, I think of something else, but and it's not to say that progress hasn't been made. Again, as I was saying, Zane has spent a lot of time, a lot of effort in the year trying to improve in that matchup, and I think it's really been paying off. And again, I'm sure that they all work together on it, but I'm just saying his results look like they were improving. Let me see.
Well, why are they losing to Sheik still?
Yeah, I mean, there are various things that I do and don't want to get into. I think so. It's kind of weird because they're good at different things. Like I think Rishi is overall better against Sheik than Zane is. Those are primarily the two I think of, because those are the two I see rising the most, at least based on what I've seen so far. So that's what I tend to think about the two of them when I think about what Marth's going to do. And so Zane, he plays a lot of matchups like they're spacey matchups, and he'll play it kind of similarly. And I think if Zane will adjust his style more, so that seems to be more of his thing. And Rishi's thing is kind of like, if he tightens up his punish or he tightens up his edge guard, it's mostly like if Rishi refines his game more. I don't think it's a specific thing. It's kind of just like, do the stuff you're doing, learn what you're getting beat by a little bit better. But it's like, I think there was a tournament a while ago, like earlier this year or something, where Rishi did very well against M2K Sheik, but struggled against his Marth. So I feel like the knowledge is there. Like Rishi has it. He's telling the other guys it should all be roughly there, and I feel like he's able to fight Swedish as well. I don't think he's done okay versus Plup. I think that's been not as good, but I think the knowledge is still there. But longer term, I think that stuff needs to be refined, and that's kind of a thing for, you know, if you're in the top echelon of play, you have your stuff pretty well refined. Your punish is pretty good. You have maybe weak areas, but everything is refined to a pretty high degree. And I guess if I'd say it this way, it's more refinement rather than a lack of knowledge most of the time for anyone under there. So Marth, Falco's, anyone, and I guess for Marth specifically. So again, I would say it's probably a tech chasing edge guarding thing, a tech chasing edge guarding juggling thing, which are kind of like really good Marth skills, but I don't think those have always been mapped out super well. And I had to spend a good time with Mewtwo King to get him on certain juggling pathways. So I think it's...
Wait, I'm actually curious. How did you do that?
It wasn't easy, but he would just message me and he would say, so if I do this or like this, it's a 50-50, and I'd say no. And then we'd talk for a while, and then we'd get a little bit better, and then we'd do it again and again until his routine got pretty good. So it's not something that, like, you know, it's something that's like, it's difficult and it's weird because you're not fighting someone that's just sitting on the ground, which is like normal melee. You're looking at you know, that weird vertical space, and it's harder to guess what's going to happen because double jump changes the momentum so suddenly, and on platforms and everything, and it's harder to keep track of yourself sometimes because instead of looking side to side, you're looking up and down. I feel like that kind of just messes with people some. And again, that's not to say that no one can do it. It's just that it's weird, and I think that's part of the reason why, like, it's kind of hard to fight Puff, because she just sits up there and you're like, well, I'm not used to this. It's weird. I want to see a fox dash dance and nair into me, and I don't like this other thing. So I think that's kind of what's going on there, and to explain just a little bit about that. And you know, it's kind of the same thing for like tech chasing, is it breaks your normal flow of punish. You normally want to chain grab, you do over and over, but if someone lands on the ground, maybe you don't want to jab reset them because they can SDI at this percent, SDI up, and punish you. So you wait, and then that breaks your flow, and then they get out. And so you have to, there are weird things, weird timings, just like with edge guarding, that you have to practice. And I feel like that weird stuff is kind of what really can make or break some players.
I'm just impressed that you taught Mewtwo King, because there have been certain things. Even
not quickly. No, I'm not a miracle worker.
I'm guessing this is around 2016, 2017 that you probably...
Yeah. Every time after... What's up?
I noticed that Mewtwo King got way better, and I was wondering how he did it, and now I know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna... I mean, I could talk about... There were a couple other things that we talked about, and I'm not taking credit, because he still messaged, and he still had to kind of think about it, and it's not because of me, that's the only reason that Mewtwo King, like, yeah, he could have figured it out, I'm sure. He could have talked to someone else, or he could have just taken longer to go through the positions and everything. But, you know, so I'm not saying that he wouldn't have done it otherwise, but I helped a good bit, and you know, it was fun stuff. Glad he did well.
If you had like one person that you feel, who's the one person in Melee right now that could benefit the most out of like the top 30 to 50 years? It could be anyone in the top 50 that you think would benefit the most from you just telling them a few things.
Telling them Mewtwo King things?
No, telling them a few things.
Oh, a few things.
Yeah.
Well, the player that frustrates me the most, because I can see how clearly good they are, is Lucky. Because he will do amazing things. Like stuff that's like, okay, yes, that's what you should do. That's a brilliant way to do it. I love it. And then he'll either go into the punish, or right after that amazing thing, he'll just anything. He'll just spot dodge for no reason, get grabbed even though that shouldn't have happened, or he'll, you know, drop the punish and get punished. It's oh my god. So I don't know if there's a way I could do something about that. That's the one that that's the one that I feel most strongly about. But you know, and some of it is I don't know exactly how some of these people learn. Like I feel like there are some things I could do because Zane is a hard worker. I feel like, you know, with just maybe some redirection with some edge guarding, especially, I think like his game could clean up a lot. And so maybe him, I don't know. It comes down to partly how motivated they are, how well I communicate to them. Just, you know, how our communication styles match up. And so it's a bit hard to say. But you know, I guess luckier Zane are my answers. I mean, I already help Rishio occasionally, so you know, yeah. not him.
It's kind of interesting because Mango actually thought like Zane was a lame-o, like initially, but like after Mango interacted with him for like the past year, you get to see the same people over and over again. You get to see like what motivates them. You actually developed a tremendous amount of respect for Zane because he's a hard worker, and that's something he doesn't see in most of the other top 20 players. So like if you want to coach Zane, that's like your boy. Like he'll implement, he'll grind. You tell him a concept, he studies, he reads, he annotates.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean it's clear he's a real workhorse. I love it. And so when, you know, people talk about, you know, what does Melee need or whatever, the top needs to be shaken up, and it's like, well, kick some people in the butt, you know, like it's like now there are outside things that motivate people, like when we first got into Evo and we had MLG and everything, and so it's not that outside things don't matter, but you know there are things that we can do in the community we have now, and you know, let's tackle it from both ends, I guess.
So it's very obvious that you've been, you know, studying, you theory craft a lot. Have you been playing at all?
I play some. A lot of my focus it's kind of like when I think it's a good idea. So sometimes it's mostly practice now, which I didn't want to do before, but now practice feels like it's more beneficial because I can do things like track lasers with Falco with my eyes and be like, okay, am I seeing this as it goes across the screen, as it comes out? Am I consistently seeing it? And they're very simple tests, and I can see my eyesight's getting better, whatever. So, and you know, I do some tech chasing practice with Marth, and my reactions are getting better, and so I see that. So it's a kind of just when I feel like it. If it's like, okay, I feel like I've moved up another level, I'm going to see what this looks like in terms of Melee. And then if I have some good days or a good week, I'll like, okay, well, I've practiced a little bit. I kind of want to see what it's like to take this and play someone. And you know, it's not normal, but it's becoming more normal, and you know, that's certainly better than it's been. So I don't think it's right for me to complain about that.
Are you playing with Twitch, or did he, for context of people that don't know, Twitch is PPMD's brother. Have you been playing with him, or have you been playing with just the local North Carolina players, if you do play?
I play with, it's mostly local players, but you know, that's fine. That's fine, but it gives me what I need. I mean, I've been able to benefit so much from playing with local North Carolina players. I don't see it as a detriment at all or anything, although playing Twitch is really nice. I'm not really able to get everything out of it playing him right now. I did actually, when I was home for Christmas, I played with him a little bit. But I don't think it gave me any more benefit or insight that playing a local player would have given me right now. And that speaks to kind of, you know, where I'm at and, you know, that type of thing. But I would say I'm focusing more on local players. It's just easier to coordinate, and I live like, you know, 3.5, 4 hours from him, so it's just easier to coordinate around here locally and everything. And that's been going fine. I'm getting a good bit out of it.
Do you have a hidden Smurf on netplay?
On netplay, I feel like there's like a lot of ways I want to answer this question. I have an alt on Twitch that I'm on all the time, and I typed in the chat a couple times earlier. I don't usually type in Melee chat, so if you guys want to hunt for that, go for it. But netplay, so I'll say it like this. I was against netplay for a really long time because I didn't like the lag. I felt like it didn't simulate real practice, and while I think there are benefits to learning matchups or getting exposure to other ways of playing positions and things like that, I I felt like it wasn't worth it for me. I'd rather just practice or play someone local offline. But I keep getting told it's getting better and better, so maybe I caved in, maybe I didn't. How about that?
I feel really bad for everyone in your region that's like, damn, I got double 3-stock by this like no-name Falco that thinks he's hella good.
That happened. Apparently, that happens to people a lot. Like I don't remember who it was, but they tweeted when they were on their Smurf, and people were like, "Oh, you're so whack! All you do is run away, and you're not even good." And they just were just toxic to them. And then they got on their name account, their named account, and then they played them, and they were like, "Oh, good games, man! You're so good! Like I love your strategy!" Like, so that there's something truly timeless about the internet like that, I think.
It's insane. I've gotten mollywopped by so many people in netplay, and like they're just like, no, I'm not a Smurf. So there's a lot of hidden bosses there too, but you just never.
Yeah, no, that's true. There are hidden bosses as well, and I think that's super cool. Of course, please come to events. You don't have to keep coming, but it'd be cool to like see, because I saw a thing on RSSBM the other day that was like, is netplay good for practice? And there was a guy in there that said, well, I only did netplay for 2 years, and then I went and got I don't think he said 7th at his first local, and I don't know how many that were there. I assume it wasn't 7, but he said, yeah, it really worked. I got a lot better, and it was good stuff. And I think I think that's really cool. So I'm not discouraging anyone. This is not, again, I'm not telling anyone what to do. If you like netplay, please play it. I think it's a great resource for the community. No matter what, and but I like having that interaction between online and offline. There's the more of that there, I think the overall community benefits from that.
I got some fan questions for you. So Leffen, so this is in regards to Fox versus Falco. Leffen thinks Falco wins Battlefield, but Fox wins FD. Wes thinks Falco wins FD. So they wanted your insight on stages.
Leffen thinks Fox wins FD.
I'm not sure when exactly this was said, but this is what a fan let me know.
So, my guess, and I was thinking about this while watching Leffen play on FD, because Leffen kind of plays it like he thinks Fox wins, I think. So I was wondering. I think my guess is that Leffen believes that the chain grab is much more reliable than Falco combos, and you can kill more easily off a hit. And the neutral, Leffen's figured out enough stuff in neutral to where not having platforms doesn't matter. And I think I would disagree with that. I think that even if the chain grab is more reliable, I think that some of the stuff I was talking about before, as long as you can get Fox in the air, you're okay. Or you can get him off stage and you get an edge guard situation, you might be okay. As Falco, you can still get a kill or at least a lot of damage off of openings. And I think that not having the platforms is still bad. I'm not convinced that FD, I think at absolute worst it's even, but I think Falco still wins. I think Falco probably wins on Stadium, especially if you are really good at camping out like The Rock, because that's so good for Fox. It's insane. But I guess as a Falco player, you can't really say anything because against every other character, The Rock is great, so it's one of those things you got to deal with. Dreamland, I think Fox wins. Yoshi's, I think Fox wins. I think Dreamland is more winnable to me as Falco, but I think Yoshi's is fairly bad. Battlefield and Fountain, I'm not super sure about. I don't every time I see people talk about stages, they either leave out Fountain or they're like, someone wins and they don't explain why half the time, and it's because it's so weird. I wanted to know because the platforms are they're not actually random because nothing's actually random or whatever, but they're no one, as far as I know, no one knows how that works. I wish I knew how the platforms on Fountain work because that would give me a better idea. Because when the platforms are down, it's like a little FD, and then I think even if Fox has that top platform, it's still advantage for Falco then. But then if the platform's at its lowest point, it can mess up Falco's lasers, but it can give him a good approach. So I don't know. It doesn't make sense. F stage doesn't make any sense. But then Battlefield, I feel like it's kind of even. And part of the reason I think that is I think Fox gets an advantage in neutral, but edge guarding Fox is so much easier because there's no lip of the edge to ride along with your up B, so it's just so much easier to down air and kill them, which is really important in the matchup, I think. Let's see. Oh yeah, and the other thing about Battlefield is the top platform I think is actually too high for Fox to do what he needs to do. So being able to come down and attack is really important for Fox from the platforms, but the top platform is so high that it's easier to see it coming and counterattack. And then additionally, the side platforms are in the way, so you have to fast fall through them if you want to hit the ground, which makes you easier to intercept, or just dodge or beat them out because they have to go through and then have the move come out. So the side platforms are mainly where the issue is, and those are really good for Fox, but not having as easy of a time with the top platform, I think, might hinder him a little more. I don't fully know how I feel about it. It feels kind of evenish when I play it, so I'm not totally sure. I just say even, but I don't really know. But yeah, Fountain, I don't know. I want to hear arguments about Fountain. I want to hear if anyone knows how the platforms work. I asked Cardano about it like 3 years ago or something, 3.5 years ago, and he said he didn't know then, but maybe he knows or someone knows now. I would love to know if anyone knows how Fountain works. Please tell me. It drives me crazy. Sometimes I just sit around and just like, how do those stupid things work? I don't know.
Sorry, I was trying to lower the bit audio and get rid of it. I accidentally got rid of your last bit of Fountain of Dreams.
Well, it doesn't matter. I was just saying that, like, I don't know how it works. If someone knows, tell me. That's it.
Might be, guys.
No, it's all good.
I got another fan question from a private Discord. Ooh, everyone's mad at me.
Okay, everyone, be nice to Tafo. He's done a lot. Remember, but he's human. He could make mistakes.
I make a lot of mistakes. You're mostly you're a guy that strikes me as like primarily being concerned with just gameplay, getting better. But from a historical perspective, what do you think about your legacy in Melee history? Does that ever come across your mind?
Yeah, I was thinking about that more like a year or two ago. Now the way I think about my legacy is there was my early period where I was rising, and there was that period where I was a top player before EWO came out. Then there was the period of time kind of after basically the Platinum Age is what people call it. And then there was the time where I disappeared. And so those segments all represent something really important in my Smash and in my general life. And I feel like based on what I've been building in myself and what I've been learning, I think what comes after this is going to be really, really important for my legacy. So it's a question that I feel like I can no longer exactly answer, but I'm really excited for it. But to the question of how it looks right now, I would say, I think my legacy is I came up from a small area in a small region, and that's very notable. And I came up pretty quickly. In spite of that, I honed my skills with discussion, theoretical work, analysis, which were used but not as typically used for growth, or at least not as much as I was using it for. And I showed that was a route to improvement. And then generally as a person, I was seen as pretty nice. And then there was kind of a period where I was a top player where I wasn't as nice. I was overconfident, and I shouldn't have been. That was a very foolish thing for me to be. And that was marked by more decline. And that was a very important transformative period, which kind of extended past when we were in EVO. And I wanted to figure myself out better. And I think, and I'm only saying that because using that new knowledge more so than Melee getting big, because my results didn't really change that much after Melee got into EVO. In fact, they might have just continued trending downward like they were. After that, I began putting more and more together, and I was overcoming more and more things within myself and within the game as a result. And whether that'll be something that is actually remembered, my desire to have that connection between your life, your emotions, the way that you fundamentally see the world, and your blind spots in life and your blind spots in Melee that translate to everything. That's something that I really do want to be part of a legacy, but I don't think is super talked about. I mean, I talked to Samox about it, so it'll maybe be part of it, but whatever. But that and reclaiming over the course of that time and this time I've been on my own, how to be much more appreciative and to reconnect with how I was when I was not a top player and not having so many followers and all that stuff, which is terrific, and you know, I do super appreciate it, but it caused me to really reevaluate and challenge myself. So I think I guess to summarize, I would say it's like I want my legacy to be a exploration into how you can rediscover yourself and how that affects your whole life.
Do you think it's would you consider it to be a success then if you were to make any return? Because I think what becomes unfair, and I think you're a very high performer, or like a very top performer. So like I think with top performers, like there's like this expectation. But do you think it's like a success in and of itself if you were able to come back to a tournament and compete and not necessarily, I don't know, win the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect to win the first tournament I come back. Like, even because I mean, what I want to do, I don't know if this is exactly how it'll happen, but what I really want to do is I really want to practice like a month or two, get my tech up, cover the big weaknesses, like figure out that SDI stuff with Falco, for example, like I was talking about, or repolish and get my pivots down with Marth for the puff matchup or whatever. So.
Oh, you got pivots?
I was working on pivots a lot even before Pew Pew did it to HBox at Apex 2015. Because I was friends with Ark, and he was from Texas, and Fast Like Tree taught him pivot stuff, and then he took it further with Cardano, and then I learned it from him as a result of pushing that. And I didn't do it as much as he wanted me to because I wasn't amazing at it, because he was always mad at me for that. But I had a decent pivot game, and I was constantly experimenting with ways to just pivot out of, like, I do a short hop fair, and then I could, like, okay, well, is there a way I could, like, get, if someone got knocked down from holding down in neutral at, like, I don't know, 70, and they weren't going to tech it because, like, you're just not trying to get hit by the fair, but they're trying to wave dash or something, they get knocked down. I was like, how often can I get a pivot F smash? And I could get it, like, sometimes. I was starting to play with ideas like that or whatever. So I don't know. And like, obviously, sometimes you can just walk and do it, so you don't have to pivot. So it was kind of like there were only certain, whatever. It's not the point. I had some pivots. I was thinking of some stuff, and I thought it was pretty cool. But I'm not gonna say I was amazing at it. I just had ideas for applications, and I was decently consistent at it. But I only did it. I never really got to push it to where I'd want to use it into a tournament, because I want like a pretty high consistency rate, because otherwise you might as well just like fair or something, like you might like get the free damage as opposed to like just whiffing around and potentially getting punished.
I totally distracted you. So we talked about pivots, but before I rudely interrupted you, you were mentioning about your process going into, you know, tournaments back.
That's right. And yeah, but I want to get my stuff right. And so, but there's only so much I'm going to be able to get right, you know? And this is kind of what, I mean, I was lurking on Mango's stream in the past, and when people would talk about me sometimes, and he was like, yeah, I don't think Kevin's going to be able to win a tournament when he goes back, because he's got to get experience going to tournaments again. And I don't necessarily agree with that. That it's a tournament-specific skill, but I do agree that playing people under high pressure and just getting pushed like that, because sometimes people will sandbag in friendlies or whatever, and HBox doesn't even play you in friendlies. I don't care about, by the way. People care about that a lot, whatever. But you know, it's just one of the, you just need that experience. You need to be exposed to that. You need to get pushed as hard as you can. And so I'm going to prepare myself ideally as much as I can. I'm going to go and I'm going to test myself out. And whether now, I mean, I guess it depends like how big of a tournament I go to. Like if I go to a regional, my odds of winning are better, but you know, it's still one of those things where you just kind of got to get tested, and you need to get used to the difficulty of the high stakes again and everything. But I think that comes back pretty quick. I'm gotten so much better at, you know, relaxation techniques. Is what I was building on in 2014 and some of 2015 and you know, over the course of my time focusing on my health. So I don't foresee that being a super terrible issue, but you never know. Tournaments are a crazy thing, and when you're confronted with yourself, it can still be difficult. So I don't see myself winning, and I don't see myself getting hard on myself about it. I do see myself taking the footage, figuring out where I'm weak, going through it really hard, and I feel like just kind of getting beat by the new meta just for like a tournament or two. I think like I'm going to rapidly refigure it out, because a lot of people do a lot of the same new stuff. Like people slide off the same way, or they SDI the same way a lot of the time. And that's just kind of how metagames work. So, and again, not in the top players are the top players are different, a bit different than that. But so that's part of why I really need the experience playing them. And, you know, part of it, I'll get that from hopefully going to see Mango, because he invited me. I don't know if that offer still stands, but I hope it does. And I think that'd be really good. And I think that would mitigate some of the problems, and I think people would like it. And, you know, so I'm not expecting us to win and be amazing, but I am expecting to grow again quickly, because I'll have certainly room for it.
Yeah, when you come down to SoCal, I think it's like an open invite from Mango. Mango gets to stream viewers, you get to practice, and I get to take you out to good LA food.
Ooh.
So just let me know all the favorite stuff. I know you mentioned in the beginning of the stream, you mentioned you had some notes that you want to bring up.
Yeah, we hit, I mean, well, there's a couple things. I think one of the biggest things I wanted to talk about in 2018 that I feel like is a bigger deal than it's been is the international players. I think that the international scene, and again, not everywhere, and we could expand more. I watched Blur's thing about how we could do better in that. But I really think that, especially like Spud recently, like, you know, I don't remember how good New Zealand was in the golden age, but I think like, you know, places that, you know, we haven't had a scene for so long since the golden age, or maybe ever, are starting to get really quality players, and I think that's just terrific. Obviously, everyone loves Nebby, the Yoshi from the Netherlands. Amsa doing really well. I think this is his best year yet. Frenzy, Pipsqueak from Sweden did a bit. Moki from Canada started putting up results in the last few months, I want to say. And obviously, you know, people are like, "Oh, you left out this person." Whatever. It's not the point. But there's just a lot of examples of it, and I think that is a really cool thing, and it's a really good sign for Melee. And I would love to nurture that. I'd love to go to other places and try to build the scenes there, or help out with flights for some of these players or other ones that seem like they're really trying. And I think it's really cool, and I think it's great for the game and great for representation. I love it.
Man, I feel like I should give you your own MPGR ballot. You seem like you're in the know.
No. I watch all this stuff, and I try to look at general trends, and I always have like vague ideas of how things are going, but all that data and oh my god, the problem isn't just all the data, but it's stuff like, well, with Mango sandbags, people treat that as not just a like someone beating Mango, but it's like they don't weight it as much because they know that he's capable of more than that, and maybe he was drunk or whatever. And I'm not saying, and maybe it's good or maybe it's not good. That's not really what I'm talking about. But if you say, okay, well, we're just going to punish him for that every time, then are you also doing a disservice? And so like there's an argument there. And then even outside of all that type of stuff, there's like, how can you just give someone a number? What if they were trending up at the end of the year, and you're kind of like, it's not really representative of their skill still, but you have to take the whole year into account. You can't wait the end more. And so Giving someone a number was just like terrifying to me. I couldn't do it. So I'm glad for the melee stats people. I'm glad for the work you did and do for all of that. But I can't do it. I feel like whatever I do would just be inaccurate and unfair to people. I can't do it.
Don't sweat it, man. Although low-key, I feel like you'd give the best ballot for some reason.
I put in a lot of work because I don't want to do a bad job.
It's all good, man. What else was on your little bag of notes?
I had just like some general type of questions. One of them was about Zane. He has Falcon. Like, will Zane's rise continue? He has Falcon and Sheik struggles among some other things. I think that's kind of a big question mark at the end of the year. Obviously, I expect him to, but with the don't park on the grass, how that went, is that going to be something is that going to be a trend? Is it something? It's because it's something that's kind of showed up before. Will that be borne out more? Will that see something that takes him a while to overcome? And kind of as a related thing to Sheik is, what's Plup going to do? Because he started the year winning Genesis and everything, and his consistency seems like it varies. He's still in the top. Like, no one's questioning that he's within the top. He certainly is. But could he become more consistent against, say, Hungrybox, for example, or something like that? And I think that's a big that's a big type of question. And kind of more generally, it's just, will Hungrybox maintain his relative consistency? And I say relative because partly for those things I mentioned earlier, playing different matchups, but also his own gameplay from me watching it has kind of wavered a bit over the course of the year. And if he's having a day where he's just trying to see what he can get away with, is Zane gonna pivot, tip, or kill him at 40 a few times, and is that gonna be the end of that? So, or Wizzy is another good example. Could Wizzy just take advantage of Hungrybox like that? Can he overcome his Falco problem, or can he win all the other non-Falco matchups and get himself into the top? And I think I haven't finished watching this yet, but IBDW's win at NYXL that just happened, I think that sets a really interesting tone for the new year. Because, he's certainly been improving, but you weren't hearing so much from him. And now, and then right after Don't Park on the Grass, he was able to, beat out Swedish, who was doing super well. And he's kind of... The IBDW thing is another part of this thing with the international scene and the thing about Hungrybox I was talking about, which it feels like there's a change, and it might be creeping, but it might be coming a little faster than we expect. And I feel like there's a generally type of a change that's coming there. And so I really, I'm interested to see if that is a signal of anything, or if it's just a one-time thing, or if it's part of something greater. I'm really curious about it. And also, of course, the Sheik, Swedish Delight, and Face Roll, could they be part of a new Sheik wave? Because Face Roll is optimizing just like nobody's business, starting to really put up results. And I'd really like to see what those two players are doing as well.
It's pretty interesting. I think I had a thought, and then you mentioned Face Roll, and then I totally forgot what I was going to say.
I was talking about Swedish.
Okay, I got it. I usually go by this rule of thumb. I usually say, if you can convince me of outperforming your base level skill 3 tournaments in a row, then you got it. I feel like
a lot of people use the 3 tournament rule. Back in the day, Mango always, before he was accepted as the best, or right after he would always complain about how people said, "Oh, it wasn't a legit win over Mewtwo King, and he wasn't warmed up or whatever." And then, but he said after the first time, no one believed. After the second time, people were like, maybe, but probably not. And after the third time, they were like, all right, okay, fine, he's better. And so Mango said, you have to really convince people that you're better about things with 3 tournaments. And I don't know if that rule's been modified. He's dangerous, so who knows what he came up with. But
okay, I don't remember exactly when it was, but when you started embracing the memes, I remember you kind of were kind of whatever, or a little shy about them, but you've fully gone on the memes.
Yeah, dude, it's the wave of the future, man. You gotta keep people entertained. You gotta get those Twitch clips with the deep fried Despacito, whatever, you know how it goes.
So the way you're talking about Hungrybox, it almost seems like these tournaments, at least in the like kind of not too distant future, are his to lose. Is that kind of the perception you have, that Hungrybox is just kind of the benchmark for everybody?
Well, that's kind of how the narrative looks without my own opinion attached to it, I think, because everyone's like, oh, HBox this, HBox that, he's going to kill Melee, whatever. He's boring, Huff is stupid or broken or whatever, which I don't really sign on to. I think that there is more of an argument now based on some things that came out, but I'm not convinced yet anyway.
You just suddenly got really loud.
Oh, I was just, can you hear me?
No, you just got really loud for some reason. Oh. Anyway, keep going.
Okay. But yeah, no, I think he has plenty of room to improve too. And again, his competition with Leffen for #1 this year, from what I was reading, because I don't keep up with the stats that close, it was apparently pretty close, and he was Armada almost got #1 for the year, despite, you know, having a retirement earlier. So HBox, he has room to improve if things are that close, right? Even if he does get #1, things are still that close. So technically, if you're #1, then you could only go down from there, right? But I don't think that's I don't think that's the only way to see it, because I think that there's plenty of things in his game that can be improved. I think that he can play more. He can play much more consistently. He can play much more just in general, and I think that'll give him a lot of returns. So I think that there's a lot that everyone can grow in right now, and I think HBox should be having a kind of growth mindset. Although I guess no one in the chat wants me to say that. They want me to say, no, he should be scared, he's going to lose, or Melee's doomed, or whatever. I don't know, but I don't care. I think it's fine, and I understand the concern over the boring play, and like I get that he interacts less than other people, or takes longer to interact. I would rather say it that way, but I don't have any. I think he can grow, and I think that he should strive for that.
We have another top player, you know, Armada retiring from Melee singles. Like, what was your take on all that, and how do you feel about like the sense of having a fire and, you know, being competitive, and does that kind of come and go for you as well?
Man, so there are a few different. I mean, I have several different reactions to it. Because it's kind of like, on one hand, you know, I get it, right? So like, I've been kind of burned out on Melee, especially that period where my results were declining more, like after I became a top player. So it was like, okay, well, everyone said I'm the best, or I'm really good, and I was like, okay, well, you know, I finally got the respect and approval of other people that I'd wanted for so long, and so like I was like, oh well. And I'm not saying this is exactly how it went for him, but I'm saying like this is how it went for me. So I lost my motivation. And so Armada in his video said, well, I was #1 and I kept being #1 largely in part or in whole basically for, you know, a few years now. And so that's kind of killed my fire, because that was kind of my motivating thing. So I think there's a similarity there where you hit your goal and you hit it again and again, and then you're like, okay, well, now what? And that now what can be one of the most important questions. And sometimes you say, I don't know, I'm going to find out. Sometimes you say, I don't know, it's not worth it to find out. And I believe Armada said, it's not worth it to find out. I don't want to do the work. I don't want to deal with HBox, which is fine. And so I'm not going to do it. And so he's not doing it. And but he said something important that I think kind of also alludes to this type of struggle. And he said, you know, I'm open to the possibility of returning. I could, if there's some new goal that opens up for me one day, but right now I don't see it, I don't feel it. And so part of what I want to do, or I guess encourage other top players to do in the meantime, is become perhaps so unstoppable that people are like, oh, Armada's got to come back to stop him, or if I come back, then it's like, okay, well, maybe you were #1, but you didn't get #1 while he was here most of the time, or different things like that. So, I guess like, I think he just wants it to be fun again, and I can't blame him for that, because like, why would you do something all the time? Why would you focus all your effort on, or your time on something that you don't think is fun? You don't think it's worth doing anymore? Like, I get it. It's a very fair way to feel. But I think that It's possible for him to transform that way. He feels kind of in the same way that Mango was kind of feeling out of it for a lot of this year. But then in the later part of the year, he's really kind of redeveloped his fire. And, you know, maybe it's not fully back or anything, but it's clear that it can be done. He's showing it can be done, especially while maintaining streaming, which is very impressive. So, you know, I guess I just want to say that I feel for Armada. I understand it. And if he wants to stay retired forever, of course, you know, that's his decision. I'm not here to pass judgment on it. But I just want to say I would love to see him come back. I'd love to compete against him again because he's someone that pushed me really hard, and I consider him invaluable for the game in that way, and also just for his legacy.
What do you think your motivations are? Like, you mentioned that, you know, it's like you wanted to be the best, but was it fueled by the idea of being the best, proving people wrong? Like,
oh no, I didn't want to be the best. I always said I suck. That's what I said for all the time I was growing up. I said I must have typed I suck on Smashboards like 5,000, 10,000 times. I must have typed it so many times because I had no faith in myself, and you know, no one was saying I was great, like people locally, but I was like, okay, well, you're just my friends, and which is how I thought of it. Of course, you know, they might, you know, whatever. So when I was challenged, I started thinking differently because then I got the respect of other people, and it's hard to say you suck if everyone's like, oh, you're the best, or you're really good, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe. So it became difficult, and I started thinking, and I didn't have an answer. I had to look. I had to really look. I had to have more life experiences. I had to go through more losses. I had to, you know, just have other things happen to me, you know, like go through college or whatever, for example, other challenges. And eventually, you know, I learned and how one thing that really can motivate people, this is just an example, there are other things that I use, but one thing, part of the reason people are so drawn to, let's say, communities like the Smash community, is it's something bigger than yourself. It's something to be part of, and then when your actions are acting, you're like, okay, well, I'm acting ideally for the good of the community. Like if you're a TO and you're putting this on, like you might be like, okay, well, yeah, I want to learn how to host this thing better, and I want the accolades or whatever, but something else is going to be there too, or you can change it to be something else. It's the primary thing, and that could be, this is a place where people can come and have fun. This is where people can grow. This is where people can connect. This is where people can make a new life story for themselves, maybe or maybe an alternate life story where, you know, the one at home isn't good, or just all kinds of things. And it's something bigger than you. It's a bigger purpose. And so the bigger purpose for me, in part, is partly to spread this idea that there's another way to think about growth and about success, and it's also a lot about what I can do for other people, which is a big root thing. And I'll talk more about this when I come back, because I've been thinking about kind of talking about my motivations. But I really want to give people, you know, because there's so much division now, there's so much anger and everything, and I want to give people a way to say, okay, you can, I'm not saying your reasons are illegitimate, I'm not saying you shouldn't be mad, but I'm also saying let's choose what we're going to do with it. Let's choose to use the anger to connect, or to create forces for good, or to turn inward, to make sure that we don't direct that anger out and create more of it in the world, and basically to focus on love more than hate in these types of situations. And I'm not saying that that's easier, it's always the right, you know, necessarily the right thing or whatever, and I understand that this gets into other topics, but this is just an example of, I want to spread, you know, I want to counterbalance some things. I want to give people a place where they can enjoy themselves, and I want to really bring out the best in other people and show them that they have that stuff within them, and I don't want them to have to bend over backwards and kill themselves for other people and everything like I was doing. They can, it's already there, and you know, to try and get that to people, I think would just be extraordinarily beautiful, and I'd love to do it. You know, doing it in Melee is, there's such an opportunity there. There's so many wonderful people, so it'd be incredibly humbling, and just to even help one person, if I can really change one person's life and have them go on and change another person, or to go on and live, and how many people they'll at least touch with their goodness and everything. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect, and I'm not saying that I'm going to do that to everyone. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm a saint. I'm just saying that that's kind of what I'm wanting to do, and I'll mess up and I'll be human and everything, but that's my goal, and that's something that's really driving me, and that's something that's going to be driving my tournament grind. Is I want to make things better, and I think like showing that I'm pushing for that, showing that means a lot to me, I think can be really empowering. I hope, at least.
Can we make you Melee president?
No. Oh yeah, no, that's right. No more Melee dictator. I'm Melee president now.
Well, the people want you,
and I want the people. It's a great relationship, but I think one of a sign of a good leader isn't just that you make all the decisions. I want to respect the decision making of other well-informed people or other figureheads in the community. So something I'd love to do, because I don't know what's going on with this the 5 or whatever, because we haven't. I don't know. I have a lot of things to say about that, but what I'd like to do is either re-engage that or reform it or something, so that we can really bring out the best in everyone's expertise and create something better for the community. It's just another idea. So you can. I don't need to be president.
No, you can be your president. You create your cabinet and you create your Congress.
Yeah, we're gonna work. I'm telling you, man, we're gonna need checks on me, because you never. I'm not trying to be all powerful. I'm trying to do the best I can for everyone, but I don't need to be.
But every time you say stuff like that, you're getting more votes.
Yeah, again, it's not the point. But yeah, I guess that's how that works, right? Like I always hear people talk about how the positions of power are the one, people aren't. The people that get those positions are the ones that want to abuse it. The people that don't go there are the ones that should have it or whatever. So I don't know. That's not a sly endorsement of myself or anything either. I'm really saying I don't need to So what I would like to do is I would like to be someone that's like, because this is like part of my vision for what I want to do for Melee. Is I want to be like the Melee ambassador or something, but I need to like win a lot of tournaments, and I need to like have this big presence and everything. And then, right, I want to go on like news programs or podcasts or whatever, and like just talk about how sick Melee is and like how good the community is and all this stuff. And like, yes, okay, people are gonna be like, okay, there are problems, and it's like, yes, every community has problems. Let's work on them, but we should still try to bring people in and still talk about what a great thing we've got here. And that is something where I do want to take charge and do want to kind of be more of a leader figure in. And so again, what's driving me for tournaments is a love, basically kind of like a love for Melee, to what can I do to play my part in elevating that for the community, for everyone in the community. So like artists and streamers and YouTubers, not just players. Of course, I want to do stuff for players, but for everyone and viewers, but I want to, and what can I do for, the people as well. So Melee and the people in it. And that's just so important to me, right?
PPMD for president, pastor, leader of Melee Church. Oh dear. I think one of the big things, I think we as a community would love to enable you. But I recall the story we started off the stream with, where it took me probably 30 minutes to convince you to take my $50. And I think there are a ton of... It's not like we're going to make you, like, you're going to steal the community's money, get a Lamborghini and a private plane. But, like, is there, like, a healthy middle ground?
And that is the vision I really don't want to set. I, like, not even for a passerby that's not part of the community. They're just like, oh, who's this person streaming? And they're like, why is he getting all this money? He's not even... I'm going to see if he goes to a tournament. He said he's not going to a tournament. Wow, this looks like a scam. Like, I don't want a random even person thinking that, like, what is that? Yeah. So I don't know. I don't like that. I don't want to set that thing going. That does touch on a thing that... So I'll kind of do my spiel that I was gonna do at the end. It'll take like 2 seconds.
But, no, take as long as you want.
Well, this is just about my health, because we're kind of approaching that type of stuff. And I think a lot of people might have questions, because they'll be like, okay, well, in your update video, which you titled like a Tinder message for some reason, which I didn't think about when I was doing it. But anyway, I think I was probably like, yeah, this year, 2018 for sure. And I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how I'm not better now, because it should have happened, but so basically it's like it went way slower than I expected and was predicted to, but it's only gotten better. Like there was a lull period where like not much was changing, but I never like really got worse. I'm not dying. People thought I was dying. I'm not dying. And my main thing, I've only been doing it for like a year and 3 months. So people were like, oh, but you've been gone a bunch of years. And I would just say to them, okay, well, I've only been doing the thing I was wanting to do to get better for, not even a year and a half yet. So by, like if I found this right after Summit or after Genesis 3 or whatever, then, I'd be better now, very likely. So it took me a while to find the thing. And so, and I kind of hope that this is convincing some people that, it's the way I'm talking and the way maybe not the way I look, because I lost more weight than I wanted to, but whatever. Anyway, moving on. So what is, if I'm not playing Melee all the time, there must be something I'm doing that is tangible and that could signify my progress. And yes, there is, loyal viewer. That would be, I am running a mile every day as of the past week, which means I was doing other stuff, which means I was building up to that beforehand. This is just one example of the ways that I'm growing and everything. And I want to kind of build that up because it's still not normal. It can make me a bit tired sometimes, but I'm able to maintain it, and that's a really good sign, I think. There are other good signs that are leading up to that. And maybe you're saying, okay, well, okay, so you're saying that, but you did all this, you went to this health segue, and you dodged the question about streaming. Not exactly. So I'm gonna do, because I didn't want to, I want to kind of like have my thoughts put down exactly as I think them, because sometimes still when I'm talking, I still kind of butcher it, because I've had to qualify a lot of things I've said here to be sure that, because I really don't want backlash, because I'm trying not to cause problems right now, trying to just focus on the thing I want to do. But anyway, I want to do a Twitter update, so there's some text talking about what am I thinking about streaming and everything like that, and I want to do that in a week or so. Kind of want to let the dust settle from this call and everything else, and it's not really a hype thing. It's not really why I'm thinking of it anyway. I just thought like a week would be enough time for people to kind of digest what's going on here, talk about it, and then have the Twitter update. It'll have some information. It'll be kind of about the streaming and kind of a rehash of this a little bit, because I don't think everyone wants to sit through and watch me ramble, because I didn't put everything in a clip form this time.
Well, apparently 3,000 people want to see you ramble. 3,000.
I was going to type heart, but again, I'm on my alt, so whatever. Anyway.
So we'll have the chat all type in heart, and they won't know which one. Yeah.
Spoilers, I guess. Let me see. What'd I just do? Let me look at the chat. Oh, there they are. I was here. Leaked.
I'm the real...
I'm typing hard anyway. Let's do it.
I'm the real PPMD.
That's true. We're all PPMD. That would be the dream. Not like the Borg, not like that, but like we're all enveloped by a passion for Melee and for doing good in the world.
So,
but yeah, that's my thing. That's my whole health thing, and I hope that's good enough for you guys. I didn't want to take it here, but here we are.
If there's so there's a lot of little things with streaming. Mango has a little, like he calls a nerd club. If there are people that you need resources, like let's say overlays, notifications, that kind of stuff, is there a way they can help you out?
That is definitely a concern. I don't really have a good way to set that up, because I don't want to do like a Discord server or anything right now. I think there's like 2 ways we could do it. I guess you can always just like Reddit message me or Smashboards message me, but I don't think anyone wants to do that. So I guess just if you have like, especially if you're working with Mango or you have some other experience or something, and you want to tweet at me, I'll just DM you on Twitter. I feel like that'll work fine for most people.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not against like streaming help, and I will probably ask EG about some of it too. But understandably, I don't really want to bother those guys. So I hope everyone can understand that. But I'm certainly not going to turn down help, and I certainly would like my stream to be welcoming, because I only did a few streams in 2015. I loved it, but streaming's evolved since then. It's much bigger now.
Yeah.
We do gift subs now. We didn't do that back then, back in the old days.
It's next level. Mango's if you look at Mango streaming right now and like 4 years ago, it's out of control. It's dangerous.
Yeah, I was it's actually funny because it was just such a bad time to call him dangerous, because he's pretty tame now. Like, he wears Gumby outfits and gets ignorant sometimes, but he's not hurting anyone. He's just fine.
Oh god. And you got the new emotes. Mango has like 50 something of them right now.
Yeah, no, he is. Oh wait, are they spamming Mango dangerous? I haven't actually seen it yet.
It's Dr. Evil.
Oh no. Oh no.
I mean, are you still in like, you don't have to answer this question, but like AJ left, so I don't even know who your contact is at EG. Like, let's say like this isn't actually happening. I'm like, hey, can I get PPMD to come to a tournament? I probably have to talk to your like EG guys for approval.
Well, I mean, you can go through EG, but like there have been several people over the past couple years or whatever that just hit me up on Facebook or something. So it's not like people don't do it, and I don't really care. I don't really care how I get hit up, because it's like they just want me to go to an event, and it's usually not a long conversation. It's not hurting anyone, so I don't know. So people can ask whenever, but I can also, if it's like a random Twitter message, I can also just not respond. So that's how that goes.
You know what happens when that's the case with a top player? You know who they message?
Who?
They message me.
No, are you serious?
They message.
So have you been getting messages about me?
I get messages about you, Mango, Johnny, Lucky, Armada. I've gone in for Hbox before. I'm like, dude, like, these people have teams that they can contact, but somehow I get contacted.
So that's interesting. Is that a just you thing? Does it happen to like Blur or Scar or anyone?
Probably Blur, maybe, but people just assume that I know how to contact you guys, which is,
bro, you're deeply embedded into this melee stuff, man. Like you're out here.
I am, man.
I mean, like, it's annoying, but at the same time, I feel like that's kind of cool that you're just like you're like a go-to person. Now, obviously, it's not. There needs to be a better solution, but I still think that's pretty cool in a way.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I gotta tell this story because I was somewhat salty, but somewhat happy I could be this guy. So the Ultimate announcement, right?
Okay.
They did the trailer and the Splatoon thing. I get a text message from Nintendo. And they're like...
From who?
Nintendo. One of the Nintendo guys. And they're like, do you like what you see? I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm thinking, like, there's going to be something happening. Obviously, I was NDA'd at the time, so I couldn't say anything to anyone. And then they're like, oh, okay, like, would you like to help participate in this? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, can you get me the contacts of Armada, Plup, Mango, and Lucky? Do you know how to get a hold of them?
Oh, my gosh.
And I was just like... Oh, yeah, I can get that for you. Yeah.
You should have said, hey, you got my contact information, buddy. Gotta be, there was some give and take here.
Yeah, I felt like I was the girl with the hot girlfriends that the guy wanted to do.
See, this is what they don't understand. Like, they're gonna look back and they're not gonna realize what they had right in front of them the whole time. But I'm that guy. I know right now your value.
Yes.
You're beautiful. You're a beautiful Tafokins.
I can cook. I do chores. I clean.
Yeah, but I'm saying you have a heart of gold. That's what I'm talking about. It's everything. The beauty inside and outside, man. That's what I'm talking about. You're in there.
Ooh, I got the PPMD approval. I feel invigorated. So, I promised you 60 to 90 minutes. You greatly exceeded that. I don't know if you want to answer some questions. You want to call it a day. Like, I don't know how your energy is feeling.
Oh, look at the chat. They're all being lovely still. I'll look at. Let's see. Hi, Blur. Let's see. I'm not a president. What's up, Blur? I watched your thing about Smash's strength and weaknesses. I want to talk to you about that when I'm better. But yeah. Love you guys, and I miss you too, Blur. But yeah, if you guys have any questions...
We'll do like a small handful for like the next 10 minutes, and then...
I'm going to see how it goes. Blur, I got some... Oh, what's up, Ginger? What's up, Ludwig? There's probably some like new regular people. Can we walk up the mountain? Fuzzy, I don't want to talk about it. I love you, Punky. I finally seeing you in the chat. What's up, Rixer? What's your alt account? Nice weather, pretty nice weather. I'm a little warm. What's the album? Oh, I don't know. I don't do music. I do Toho. That's it. I love Toho. Good to see me alive. I'm living, baby. I'm living. I'm becoming more alive.
Do you still eat bagels?
I'm not. It's part of my diet. I'm not allowed to. There's like an alternative bagel I was eating. I could still do that, which I might do for the meme. I haven't decided yet.
Is it the carbs, the gluten, the?
I mean, I'll put it like this. There's one guy that said, "Oh, look at the." Dude, there's so many memes now. Like, it's crazy. People are doing the D colon. That wasn't around when I left. And I think that one's like, it's bad, but it's good. I don't know. That's like memes though. But one bagel is 6 pieces of bread. Dude, Ludwig is insanely out here, dude. I love how much heart he puts into stuff. I guess I'll just say it now. I love Off the Sticks. If you guys leave, it's fine. But if you do come back, I really want to have a small part, like even just like a sound clip that Zipper does that can hit. Just please give me something. But yeah, I don't know. I needed to say that. It needed to be said. I've watched it too long. I love that.
You know what's really funny? I already foresee Ludwig clipping this, like little clip of
he's gonna...
Off the Sticks. And
yeah, he's gonna break down my motions. He's gonna be like, "Well, boys, we freaking did it!" And then he's gonna say "room weird" or whatever he does. I don't know, but I love it. Oh, what's up, Paracusia? I like your streams, man. Favorite? I like the favorite Toho. I like the Bad Apple Toho rendition. I think it's super sick. I don't know if it's the best one, but I really like it. Look at them.
I was gonna do a fun one, but it was gonna be inappropriate with Falco Mans, and I'm not sure if I can still do it.
Do you want to go to Genesis? That doesn't look super likely. But I mean, like, if I get better really, really soon, maybe. I mean, I could just go just to train or something, but I don't know. And best Toho girl, I don't know. I don't know the girls. That's not my thing. I just like the music.
Did you want to indulge the Falco question that somebody asked me to ask you? Kevin?
What was the Falco question? Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to catch questions, but people are just going ham. I love you guys.
You don't have to answer this. Fuck, marry, kill, Ginger, West Bowls, Mango.
Oh no, dude! These questions get people in a lot of trouble. Last time I did this, I think Mewtwo King was mad at me for like a week or something.
Wait, why was he mad at you for a week?
Because I was like, well, I mean, look, I'm in trouble again now already because he's gonna remember it. But whatever. Look, everyone go buy Mewtwo King's book. He would want me to tell you, buy the book. It's going to be incredible. He's the robot god. All right.
Follow him at MHE_Mewtwo King.
Yes, streams. Follow him. Follow him. Watch his stream. All right. So now I'm not in trouble anymore.
Okay.
Drops in March. That's right. Thank you, Imposter Coster. Who is it? Mango, West Balls, Ginger. Sex with Mango, 100%. Well, actually, this is actually. Yeah, all right. Sex with Mango, 100%. Marry Ginger, kill Wes. Sorry, Wes. It was tough.
Damn. It's so funny that not only did you say like sex with Mango, you said 100% sex with
100%. Because he's dangerous. You don't know what's gonna happen. It's spicy. You're making moves. He's making moves. You don't know. Oh wait, hold on. Are you still interested in speedrunning? Oh yeah, what's up, Rixer? I am interested in speedrunning, but my schedule, because I picked up more stuff, is probably going to look more packed. So I don't know. It might be a while before I get into it, but I still watch. Ginger, I accept. All right. See you in... never mind. I'm not going to... I shouldn't... I'm going to get myself in trouble. But speedrunning is like a longer term thing. I want to do it. I want to play, especially Mario 64. I still really want to play that. I want to do 120 star. I still want to do it. But I need to figure out what my schedule's going to look like, and I need to get myself back up to speed and everything first. So I think it'll be cool. But yeah, I like watching it a lot. Like I watch speedrunning every day, so I think it's sick. So I got to get back, I guess. Oh, what's up, Tago? Tago is so good at 70. Please get that record, Tago. You're sick. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be doing this because everyone's here for Melee, but like, dude, I watch so much speedrunning. Hey, Clint, I love Clint. I have a lot of stuff to say about Clint Stevens when I get back. Clint is actually no, I'm not gonna. Don't do it. Don't do it. Clint's sick. Clint hit me up. That's all I gotta say.
Hey, they helped us a lot for Evo 2013. The speedrunning and Melee community are like
yes, they did. Yeah, Trihex especially was really forward thinking on all that. But everyone was just going super hard. I think this is kind of a longer term. I wanted to make a YouTube video, because I still want to restart the House Call series. But I wanted to talk about the 1 unit thing in the Evo drive, because I think people were like, "Oh yeah, 1 unit was fake. It was just for this thing." And that's like, and it benefited the Smash communities largely. And I think like there's ways we can rekindle part of that, but also part of it is unrealistic to try and attain, because there's not like a common thing we're all striving for anymore. But I think there are ways we could probably get there. And anyway, I want to do a video about it eventually, because I think like it's just people are using it as a way to sow division, when I think like it's not a very balanced way to look at it.
I'm just gonna write down a list of topics, and then I'm gonna give you 100 topics that might be relevant to you, and then you're just gonna pick and choose and be like, yeah, I want to talk about this one this week, so we can continue that content.
I'm always looking for ideas. I'm gonna ask people what they want me to talk about, because I need to give the people what they're looking for. I want to give all that stuff. Favorite 2018 Melee moment.
That's a good one.
That's a hard question.
I'll run down some possible ideas. Zane winning. There's a lot of different people who won. Plup winning.
Zane, I think Zane winning is pretty good. I honestly think the first time was this year the first time Zane beat Hbox?
Yes, he specifically.
I think Zane beating Hbox was a big one. I don't see anyone talking about this set, but I don't really watch a lot of people talking about it. But I actually think one of the better sets that I watched this year in terms of overall gameplay was Leffen Plup from Evo. And I wasn't like I thought it was amazing, but I thought it was fairly good. I thought it was pretty enjoyable to watch. I think afterward, one or both of them said it wasn't a good set, and I don't think it was the best they played, for sure. I think they could have played better, but I enjoyed that set. I think the summits are always really fun to watch.
Mewtwo King 1 Summit.
Yeah, that's a big moment. Wasn't my personal favorite, but that was a big one for sure. Yeah, I'm not trying to say like, I'm talking about just the gameplay. I'm not trying to talk about how Plup was. I feel bad about that, certainly. Sorry, Plup, if you see this. That wasn't my intention.
I think Plup knows. I saw him in the chat like 20 minutes ago. He still Craigasms over the fact that you were his last teammate.
Yeah, no, I think Plup is awesome. I think he's a really great force for Melee in general. Like because I didn't talk about it too much, because I don't know if he likes being talked about or whatever. I kind of get the sense he doesn't, but I have a great respect for how good he's gotten and how good he is with different characters. I'm not trying to cause a problem with him. I think he's sick.
Oh, I forgot about Loser. That one time you went to that one tournament where you guys beat Hungrybox and Crunch.
That was last year,
yeah.
But yeah, I love, dude. I think people didn't really know who Loser was until that. I mean, they knew, like a lot of older people knew, like you knew, but a lot of the newer people didn't know. And I want to do a thing one day where we like watch some of his stuff or watch his combo video, or you know, just maybe I'll have him on the stream one day, because I could probably get him out here. But I love Balzer so much. Like, he was such a big influence on me. He was a big goal for me starting out, and he's super sick, and he's just a really cool guy. So I don't know.
I still remember I was so close to beating you at one of the Apexes with Milkman, and then Loser got the 2 sickest shine spikes on both of us to like win the set, and I was so mad.
He's so good at that in teams, especially like his Ludwig. Am I gonna start streaming consistently? That's something I'll talk about in probably like a week or two. It's just better to wait. Excited for Kingdom Hearts 3. Super excited. Oh my god, I'm ready.
You know what you could do? Can you explain things so elegantly? Like, you break down the most complicated melee concepts. Would you do a video content series explaining the Kingdom Hearts plot going into Kingdom Hearts 3?
Dude, I don't remember everything because I looked up everything like a year ago or early this year or something. I don't even remember when. But there's like it's like the lore is all. I haven't seen, because there's like so many little things that are alluding to other things and potentially alluding to other things, and it's like, and the number 13's everywhere, and it's like I know a lot of stuff about it, but I've forgotten things, and I don't know. And Nomura is insane, so I don't know. It's just beyond anything, so I don't know.
Okay, well, it was worth a shot.
Yeah, there's some things that are even beyond my power. That's for sure.
We're closing in on the end. That is, if you wanted to make it the end.
Yeah, I'll take let's see if there's one more question. Underrated, overlooked players. Well, it's kind of hard for me to say who's underrated because I don't know who people are talking about. I don't know.
He'll get back to you in a future stream about.
Yeah, I actually am not sure, because it's like I just need to know the perception.
Okay, I got.
How do we make comment? Oh, what's up?
I got two.
I actually saw a good question, so you can ask me whatever, and then I'll
go with the question first, and then I'll ask you a few things, and then we can close off.
Yeah. So Ludwig asked, "How do I make commentary better?" Now, I mean, if I'm being real, I mute commentary most of the time, aside from Summit sometimes. So I'm not going to say I'm super informed on it, but the thing that I will say that at least was an issue in the past was it's like I gave up on trying to get people to break down everything about high level. I think that's kind of unfair anyway, but I think something that's good is just talking about trends. And I think the more commentators talk about trends, and I don't mean trends in results, I mean trends in what's happening in the game. So if you're if a Fox is winning neutral with Nair, and then they start, and it's like this, and then it's the next stock, and then they start winning neutral with Bear or Bear into grab or whatever, that's a significant change. You need to point out that change. But then over the course of that game, if they switch back to Nair primarily, you're like, okay, well, what does that mean? Why did they only do that for a certain period of time? And pointing out that change in trend is that's valuable to anyone of any level. And you don't even need to know fully. You guys are trolls. You are so troll. I'm starting to do a thing. So
this is why no one does serious commentary. By the way, when you're talking PPMD Insight, we got tits or ass in the stream.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's funny. It is funny. It's super funny. It's you can't be mad, but this is important. Yeah, so it's and Fuzzy's saying he talks about it, and I'm not, and I think I've heard Fuzzy's in the past, and I think he actually does do that. And it's not that other commentators don't, but I would like to see that emphasized a little bit more. So it's not that commentators don't or incapable or whatever, but it's also, you know what? I'm gonna answer that question you're all spamming. I'll answer it during a Reddit AMA. Doing it here because it's way funnier to do that on AMAs.
His answer is face.
Yeah, whatever Tafo said. But yeah, I just want to see the gameplay trends because you want to get people involved in the game more and like seeing the various way things change between matches, and then there's so much you can do out of that because you can go into that and say like, oh well, they're winning at this percent, but then they're not winning with doing this at low percent, and then how does that change things? And so whatever. So I don't know. Yeah, I did AMAs like kind of regular. I did like a few of them, so I think they're fun. So I'll just spend the day and like just answer questions because it's funny.
So aside from asking you these very important questions,
very highbrow content,
very
questions.
highbrow. Let's say somebody wanted more help beyond just asking you one gameplay question on Smashboards, and like let's say they had like gameplay footage, they wanted you to look at it. Obviously, that's a lot more demanding of your time. Like, is there any arrangement that they can do with you?
Is there anything that they should do to get better?
Or like that they can work with you specifically? Because I think a lot of people...
with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, Fuzzy made another comment about like how commentators don't have to talk about small changes, and I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying it should be like a general thing. Like I said, winning neutral with one move as opposed to another move at the same percent later in a match. Like it's just what's in front of you. It's a very basic thing, and you can extrapolate from that, but not the lasagna thing either. I'm not doing that either. But yeah, it's a very basic thing. So if someone has... Oh yeah, is this my plug? Are you trying to plug right now? Yeah, okay, I see what you're doing. If you have footage and you have ideas and you want to try and get better using all that and you want to do it through me, right now the easiest way to do it is to pick out individual situations that you're struggling with so that you're getting an idea for what you're struggling with and not just throwing something at me and saying, hey, what do I do? But you're saying, hey, these are the problems I have. These are the kind of like what I think I should do, but I'm not sure. And you timestamp it, send it to me on Smashboards, on my Falco or Marth thread, and I will answer it. But that's all right now. Later on, like when I stream, I'll do stuff like where I answer, where I like will just pull up someone that I just pull up a video of someone in chat, and then I'll analyze it, and then that'll be that. But a little different now.
Let's see. I'm like still looking through. All right.
Oh yeah, and again, while you're looking, I'm not saying people are like, oh, okay, well, I want hype commentary, and I'm not saying you should go all in on gameplay changes because when I commentated, I wanted a balance. You would talk about what's going on in the game, and then you would talk about why it's important, and then you maybe make it fun so that you don't get bogged down and like all the, because otherwise you're like, oh, well, he did this, and this is how many frames, and this is what he was doing before. Like no one cares after a little bit on that either. So you want to balance it. And I just want to, and I feel like Melee players are super good at the hype commentary, the fun commentary. So all I'm asking for is balance. I'm not asking for, everything else.
I think what's interesting though is that they're not as mutually exclusive as you think, because Scar's iconic moment of did you just walk up slowly and down smash actually highlights play-by-play and getting into Hax's head while also being entertaining, which a lot of people think as being entertaining, but there's a lot of analysis in that statement too.
Right, and that's a perfect example. I'm not against hype. I'm not saying go all analysis. I'm just saying I want balance. That's all.
Awesome. And how do you think Melee players get involved in being a part of the Smash community?
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what qualities you need, but I'm going to tell you what you have to do. You have to research for years, and you have to do it. And you must, and there is no other option. In fact, part of the reason I left was because I realized I was not a real Smash community member. I would been off researching. I'm going to be so knowledgeable, bro. I'm going to... yeah.
Well,
I think that's a good note to end on. I think everyone's pretty happy with that.
Yeah, years of research, man, led us to this moment in time. Well, thanks again, PPMD, for doing this stream. I really miss you, Kevin. Is there any last plugs you want to do before we end?
Yeah, follow Tafo at at Tafocants on everything, right? Or you're not CLG Tafocants on Twitter,
just
are you?
Tafocants.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So follow Tafocants. It's TAFOKINTS. Yeah, got that right. So go follow him. He's wonderful. And any other plugs? Follow other Melee streamers. Follow other people you like. Support the chat. Support people that you think are doing a good job. Even if it's just like a retweet or telling them they're awesome. Like, that really does make people's day. I love you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for doing what you do.
One last thing. It might take you a few seconds. You get to pick who we host or raid.
They do?
You do. As in
I do?
You.
I don't know who's on.
Okay.
I mean, I know. I mean, I can. Well, let me go check.
You will look in the Melee directory, or if you...
Yes, I will. Which... Melee... Alright. Oh, there, Ginger's watching me. S2J's watching me. Hi, guys. Hi, Ginger and S2J. Hope you guys are doing well. You guys are awesome. There's Attorney. There's Simna. There's some other people. What's chat saying? Is Armada's...
Armada's being involved in the Smash community, right?
Oh, I was just... I mean, I went to the Melee directory. I mean, we can host Armada. I don't care.
Okay. Hosting Armada it is. Well, thank you.
Tell everyone I said hi. Tell Armada I said hi. I hope he's doing well. He's a beautiful man.
All right. Thank you, PPMD. This was greatly appreciated.